Good morning and welcome to today's press briefing with Minister for EU Affairs Jessika Roswall and the Austrian Federal Minister for the EU and Constitution, Karoline Edtstadler. The press briefing will be made available on the Swedish government website, government.se.
So then, okay, yes. So, good morning everyone and welcome here. I'm very happy to welcome my colleague, Minister Edtstadler, to Stockholm this morning. We just had a very good breakfast and productive meeting where we discussed the European agenda ahead and also the incoming Swedish presidency. We discussed the general outline of the Swedish priorities, which our Prime Minister will present formally next week in the Chamber. I informed the Minister that one of the key focus areas for Swedish presidency will be the EU's long-term competitiveness and how we can support European industries by creating an even better single market, investing more in research and innovation, and concluding more trade agreements with partners around the globe. Our two countries share the same views in many issues. Continued support for EU support for Ukraine in their fight against the illegal Russian aggression is one of them. This will be a crucial task for the presidency and a topic where we two countries cooperate closely. We also discussed the agenda of General Affairs Council, among other topic of rule of law, which will be of another important task for our presidency, and one also where Minister Edtstadler and myself find much common ground with. So thank you and welcome here to Stockholm, Minister, and please.
Thank you so much. Dear Minister, dear Jessika Roswall, thanks for the very warm welcome and again congratulations on your recent appointment as European Minister. It's always a pleasure to meet strong women in strong positions, and your position is particularly important as it is less than 1 month that the presidency of Sweden starts. So I think a crucial time but also a very intensive time for you. I remember quite vivid the Austrian presidency, so strong nerves and strong mental and physical health. It will be tough, especially at the time where we face a lot of challenges in Europe and where you have to try to find solutions in crucial points. I'm very thankful that the Minister gave me already an insight regarding the focus of and the priorities of the Swedish presidency. I think what is really crucial in times like that is to strengthen our forces, to keep unity, to further support, of course, Ukraine also in this war, which is really awful, and also tackling important issues like the issue of migration. All in all, it is a very challenging time for Europe. It is a challenging and crucial time for you and your government. And I can only assure you that Austria is standing side by side and that Austria will support the Swedish presidency as best as we can. We have a long-standing, very well bilateral cooperation also. I think we will continue easily with that. We will even deepen our personal contacts in this regard. And we also can look back to very successful things like the cooperation within the Frugal Four. This is a very important issue also because if we are talking about taxpayers' money, I think we have to handle that diligently, especially in times like that where many people in the European Union, but also outside, are really needed and have the need to get money also from the governments. But we as politicians have the need to be very clear and focused on how to use this money also. I consider you as a partner, and again, it's really good to be here in your country. By the way, this is also an open invitation to come to Vienna. I think maybe after your presidency, because you have to do a lot. I would like to come to the very important issue of migration, also because this is also something we are sharing. We have the highest numbers of applications from asylum seekers within the European Union. We share the same experiences. We see that the common asylum system of migration in the European Union as it is now is no longer functioning. We have really a big problem in Austria, as most of the asylum seekers who are coming are not registered so far. And I think everyone in the European Union sees in the meantime the need that changes have to be done, and that we really have to establish a full functioning common asylum system. It's not easy to find solution, but no one told us that it is easy, especially when we also have a war in Ukraine, and an additional burden, of course, which we are facing is there. But it is clear that we have to help. Only some of the numbers. Sweden has offered protection to so many asylum seekers since 2015. Sweden has overall the most asylum applications from unaccompanied migrants per 100,000 inhabitants in the EU, followed by Austria. So we can really say that we are sharing the same experiences in that regard. We are looking forward to find good solutions with you as, of course, an honest broker, but with your experience in the back. We are also welcoming the action plan of the Commission regarding the Central Mediterranean region, but also it was presented yesterday regarding the Western Balkan route. And I think now everyone knows that we have an urgent topic here which we have to tackle. One further comment from my side regarding the Western Balkan countries, because I mentioned already the Austrian presidency. I think we did a lot since 2018 to focus also on the Western Balkan country as a region of Austria, which is important for the security of the European Union and also a question of the credibility of the European Union. And we are now at the beginning of December. We hope that we see in the meeting of the heads of state and government in December a clear position also on Bosnia and Herzegovina to grant the candidate status to this country. I mentioned that also. I know that we have to advocate still loudly regarding some countries, but I think it's really needed to put a clear sign that we want to have these 6 Western Balkan countries within the European Union, because I always say the European Union is not ready without them. We have to face the common challenges together, and that's why we and I conveyed also this message to you, dear ministers. Well, I would like to end positively. However, I have to say a lot is lying before you. On the other hand, it's one of the most important and most interesting times a politician can have to be presidency of the Council of the European Union. I wish you the best luck and again strength, and I can again assure you the support of the Austrian government and of Austria. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I feel the support and I'm looking forward to a good cooperation. So please, questions. Who would like to start?
My name is Stefan Vospanik from the Austrian Press Agency in Vienna. I've got a question to you. I know that it's not in your competence, but on Thursday the Justice and Home Affairs Council is supposed to approve the enlargement of the Schengen area. And due to objections of Austria, there probably won't be a decision on this. So this question will fall to you as a Swedish presidency. We know that Sweden is supporting the enlargement of the Schengen area. So what will you do to convince your Austrian partners that this is something that is good for the European Union? And a question to the Austrian minister, do you think a decision on the enlargement of Schengen will be reached under Swedish presidency?
Yeah, so no, it's correct. It's not under my it's the Minister of Migration or Minister of Justice, and they are discussing it on Thursday correctly. So, but and we have had this was one of the discussions points that we had in the breakfast meeting that we just had. But let me start in another way. It's one of the priorities during the Swedish presidency will of course be to have the migration pact moving forward. And that was also one of the discussion points that we had. There are challenging to find a common solution on this, but we also know it's a huge challenge for Europe, the situation that is at the moment, and therefore we need to move forward when it comes to all of the files within the Act, and that will be of an important question for the Swedish presidency to fulfill and to move forward in those negotiations. Minister, please.
Nothing to add on that point. So you know that the Austrian position is very clear. As long as we see a European asylum system which is not functioning, where 75% of the asylum seekers coming to Austria are not registered so far, even if this is contra the European law, we can't vote for enlargement of the Schengen room because this is also coming along with the question of security for the European citizens and of course also for the Austrian citizens. And we faced the highest numbers in history. We thought in 2015 the numbers of 2022 are even higher. So I think there is some movement now in the debate of at the European level. We are welcoming that. I mentioned the new action plan from the European Commission. So we are in favor to keep up the spotlight on this issue, because this is one of the most important issues the European Union has to deal with. And I know that we didn't get the solution so far. Since I remember also the Austrian presidency, we tried to do so. So far we failed, but we are not allowed to fail in this regard. And therefore, I do really hope that the Swedish presidency is keeping up the focus on this and keeping it high on the agenda to reach a certain result also and handle this topic at the European level in a good way.
Okay. Another question? Here's the mic.
Concrete for Austria, the asylum crisis is a main topic. How will you handle the asylum crisis during the Swedish presidency?
One of the things will be to negotiate the files in the migration pact, but of course there are other questions also when it comes to migration. And if I may also say that we are one of the highest priorities for the Swedish presidency is Ukraine and keeping up supporting Ukraine, and that we also see migration following from that from the Russian aggression against Ukraine. So of course, how exactly it will be more than putting these two different files in the migration pact, moving those forward. That will be of great importance for the Minister of Migration and for the Commission working together. But so unfortunately, that is a maybe boring answer for a Minister of EU Affairs. But we have during the presidency 350 files to negotiate, and this will be, of course, one of the highest priorities.
I tried again, also for the Swedish internal affairs. I mean, your government is planning to cut the costs for integration. Some people think migration is a threat for the Swedish lifestyle and the social system. How far will you go to the right side in this part of policy? I mean, Sweden is supposed to be a very open-minded country for decades, and now you try to stop migration, more or less.
So, yes.
Swedish question, not the European.
It's a Swedish question. Okay, let me, yes. Now, one of these four parties that has three parties and four coalition partners, parties won the election because we want to change. And one of the things that we want to change is Sweden has failed with integration. We are very open, and we are still very open, but we have to focus on how to integrate all people so they get into Sweden. So that is one of the main focus for the government to solve. And we have a lot of suggestions that will be evaluated very short and also in the long term, how to get the whole of the society in Sweden to function together. And that was one of the main priorities for the government to solve. And what so? Another question?
Maybe a follow-up on this. Your Austrian counterpart has mentioned the cooperation of the Frugal Four in the budget issue. Do you think that after the change of government in Sweden, Sweden had for 8 years a social democratic government, now it's a right-wing government led by the same political party as in Austria? Do you think that it is now a better possibility to cooperate in the area of migration policy?
A good question. I think that we are still, both the previous government and the present government will still be a part of the Frugal Four, and I think maybe we will work even better since we are the same political family. But I don't maybe. I think we will work maybe a little bit better because we are from the same political family, but still Sweden, even before, has been part of the Frugal Four and will continue to be that. So that has not changed in Sweden, I should say. But Minister?
Well, as a European politician, I would say there are, of course, some topics which are beyond political party interests. They are simply in the interest of the European citizens. But I am really happy to see a strong woman, especially coming also from the same European political party family. And I think it is also a question of this, but also a question regarding some topics beyond the financial needs and the Frugal Four cooperation regarding migration. We share a lot of common experiences. And that's why I really think that the Swedish presidency with this government comes at the right time to tackle the issues which have not been tackled so far. And that's why I would like to reiterate, we are supporting the Swedish presidency, and we really do hope that we can keep these urgent agendas from the war in Ukraine regarding migration, but also other topics that you mentioned regarding competitiveness high on the agenda and find solutions. Thank you.
And yeah, I think we have to move. Yeah. So thank you very much for today, and thank you, Minister.
Thank you so much. Thank you.